welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. The Corona Rakshak and Corona Kavach, two standardized policies that the IRDAI has mandated all insurance companies offer. More specifically, the Corona Kavach policy that every insurance company has to offer has officially been released. It's available now for your purchase. As the name suggests, they are COVID-specific insurance policies. So if in case, God forbid, you do catch the disease, you do get the infection, you will be eligible for a claim, a payout from the insurance companies. Now what we're going to do is, for all of our viewers who may not be aware of Rakshak and Kavach, just give you a brief introduction into that and then dive straight into who should buy these policies and also comparing the premium costs between different insurance companies, and who better than India's #1 online insurance aggregator Policy Bazaar to do that. I am joined right now on the show from Policy Bazaar by Amit Chhabra, the Health of Business Head. Amit, always a pleasure having you with us on the Money Show. To start off with, for our viewers who may not be aware, if you could just start off by introducing the Kavach and the Rakshak policies. We know that they are standardized, which means that every insurance company will literally give you the same terms and conditions. Everything will be the same, of course, except for, the premium cost. But yeah, what is Kavach? What is Rakshak?
Sure. So let me start by giving the intent of these policies. Why are these being launched by all the insurance companies? See, in India, the health insurance penetration is fairly low. We generally see that only about 4% of people in the country today are covered under health insurance. Everybody else pays out of pocket. Now, I don't think in the history of Indian civilization or the world rather, we've ever seen something as big as Corona, which is impacting pretty much everybody. So typically when people buy health insurance, they buy because they're afraid of cancer or a heart disease or a diabetes or something. That's when people typically get afraid and they buy health insurance. In this case, what's happening is something like Corona has come in, which nobody had ever thought of. What essentially it means is health insurance has become a must buy for anybody now. Be it the rich or the poor, everybody needs to have health insurance. Now, see, the thing is, health insurance has its own price. It's not very expensive. So just to give you a sense, for a two adult combination, so say for a husband and a wife, about 35-year-old, a decent comprehensive health insurance plan costs about 1,000 rupees a month. So while that may not be a large amount for a large chunk of the population, but there is definitely the lower rung of the population for whom this 1,000 rupee a month will still be a large amount. And so all the daily wage earners, people at the bottom rung who don't have that kind of a spending power, they would want something which is costing probably 1,000 rupees a year and which gives them coverage against something that that's likely to happen to them. I think that's where the regulator, the IRDA, has done a really good, has acted on that cause. And what they've come out with is a really affordable plan called the Corona Kavach, which essentially means that for something as low as 500 rupees a year or 6 months or 3 months, you can buy a plan which will cover you only for Corona. And see, the thing is, Corona is the top of mind right now for pretty much everybody. And that's something that specifically people who are daily wage earners who are still going out to get their daily earnings, they are very susceptible to that because of the way Corona spreads. So essentially what they've done is they've come out with this plan which is very, very cheap. So let's say to get, as you can see on the screen, it will cost about 500 rupees to get a 50,000 sum insured for 6 months. Even to buy a 5 lakh sum insured plan is not really expensive. At about 1,000 rupees for a 3-month plan, you can get 5 lakhs of coverage for Corona. So what they've come out with is a very, very affordable plan to ensure that everybody in India, the poor, the rich, anybody will at least be covered for Corona, because that is what everybody is afraid of right now. Now, there are two types of plans which have been launched by the insurance companies. One is called Corona Kavach, which is basically an indemnity health insurance plan. To simplify, indemnity health insurance plan, it basically means that whatever is the hospitalization cost of your treatment for Corona, be it actually spent at hospital, be it spent before or after going to a hospital, or even if there's no space at hospitals or your doctor has prescribed you to actually get quarantine yourself at home, and get treated at the home itself, which is a large chunk of people right now in case of corona, all of these three get covered. So what that means is all the expenses that come because of corona, because if you have contracted corona, all of that will be borne by this health insurance policy. Mind you, the important point to note is this covers only for corona, so the other risks still stay. So the advice to all the viewers is, if you can afford that 1,000 rupees a month, you should still go ahead and buy the normal health insurance plan, which covers for everything and corona. However, if you cannot, and 1,000 rupees a month is a large amount for you, then go ahead and at least get this corona Kavach, because this will protect you from corona, which can which is happening to a large chunk of India's population, and unfortunately, all of us are susceptible to it right now. The other policy is called Corona Rakshak, which is essentially a fixed benefit policy, which basically says that if you get coronavirus and you have to be hospitalized for at least 3 days or 72 hours, in that case, a fixed amount will be sent to you, transferred to your bank account right away. So just to take an example, let's say if I get corona today and I have to be hospitalized for 3 months, then the sum insured, which varies from 50,000 to 2.5 lakhs, that will be directly transferred to my bank account, irrespective of the actual amount spent for treatment of my illness. This is a very good one purely from a loss of income perspective, because for the time if somebody has corona, they will not be able to earn their daily wage. So for them, this covers for the daily wage. So if I have to prioritize, I think what's important is for everybody to get a normal regular health insurance plan costing about 1,000 rupees a month. If you can't do that because of affordability reasons, then one can look at the Corona Kavach, which will give you a very affordable policy, which will cover for all the hospitalization costs for coronavirus. And additionally, you can look to buy the Corona Rakshak, which will help from a loss of income perspective.
Answered quite a few questions, Amit, including whether to pick the COVID specific insurance policies or just go with our regular ones. Now, when you look at the Policy Bazaar website, you notice that there are different durations. It starts with 3.5 months, like you mentioned. There's also different sum insured, starting with I think 50,000 rupees, and accordingly the premium amount varies. What is the most popular one right now? Which is the one that people are most inquiring about at Policy Bazaar?
So right now, what we're seeing is that the 3.5 months is the most the most in demand, because that's where people think is the most risk right now. Everybody's hopeful that corona will be gone by the time 3.5 months pass away. So that's what people are looking to buy, and they're looking to buy the 5 lakh sum insured. The reason is very simple. The way the product is priced, there's actually not a huge difference between a 5 lakh and a 3 lakh and a 1 lakh. The difference is only about 200-300 rupees. It's in general a very affordable policy. So what we're seeing customers doing is they're buying the 5 lakh sum insured plan for 3.5 months time frame, because it ensures that for the next 3.5 months you're covered well enough up to a 5 lakh sum insured amount. If, let's say, God forbid, corona is still there after 3.5 months, then obviously one can come over and buy the policy again, so that coverage still remains. The only one important point to note for all the viewers is that there is a 15 days waiting period for COVID-19, which means that you can't really go and claim tomorrow if you buy a policy today. You have to wait for 15 days, and post that you are completely covered from coronavirus. The the other important term is that all comorbidities are also covered in this. So let's say if somebody has diabetes or hypertension or a heart disease, and that worsens because of contracting corona, that will also be covered right away. So that comes as a big relief for anybody who already has a pre-existing disease, because they are the ones who are most impacted by COVID-19.
Okay, all right. So just a basic guidance, a skeletal guidance on how you can pick your insurance, premium depending on tenure, and of course even the sum insured. Now, we notice this difference between the one being charged by some of the public sector ones like Oriental or United Bank, etc., and United India, pardon me, and then there's IFCO Tokyo, Bajaj Allianz, etc. Amit, while I know that you do not essentially recommend as such, but some of them do have quite a stark difference in premium costs. Any particular reason? Because what we are looking at is a very standardized insurance policy. There's really no difference in the terms and conditions.
Right. See, there's no difference in the product features for sure, but there are a few things that vary. So one is the cashless network hospital list, right? So some companies, for example, in Delhi will have about 300 network hospitals, whereas there will be some companies which say about only 100 hospitals. And obviously, every customer wants to go to a cashless hospital because that ensures that there's no out-of-pocket expense at the hospital. So that is one. The second is based on the underwriting and the risk appetite of every company. So every and also based on what the history has been for the company regarding to COVID claims. So based on that, every company is priced differently. What you will also see is some companies think family floaters are more profitable. Some think individuals are more profitable. Some will prefer younger ages versus the elderly. So it's purely a very, very company specific thing on how they perceive the risk from coronavirus, and that's how they've priced it. So yeah, slightly. So there's actually no one insurance company which is the cheapest across all ranges. That is the reason. So you'll find different companies the cheapest based on what family combination, what age, what demographics you're looking at. But for the customer, I think there are probably two important things that one must look at. One is the price for sure. Obviously, whatever is the cheapest, one should look to buy that. The other important thing that one must look at is the cashless network hospitals. So make sure that the hospitals you tend to prefer are near your homes, or which are the largest ones around your place. Make sure you're familiar with those hospitals and they are a part of the network list from whichever company you're buying the policy. I think that is very, very important. Apart from that, we call this the 2-minute policy within our ecosystem. It actually takes us 2 minutes to buy. It's a fairly simple journey, fairly simple process. You can just come online, pay the premium, and just fill a very quick short form, and you have the policy. There is no medical required. There is no underwriting that's needed. If you have a pre-existing disease like diabetes or hypertension, which a lot of India has, that is also covered. So it's almost a no-brainer right now. Everybody in India should just have this, and at the price at which it's available, it's a no-brainer.
Great. Amit, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a sneak peek into the pricing of various insurance companies. In this case, it's a standardized policy. So literally every insurance company you walk into, or rather log into right now, given that social distancing measures are in place, the terms and conditions are going to be the same. So hence it was all the more important for Amit to highlight the must-haves in these insurance policies. Price as well, of course, does play an important role, in selecting, the premium and the insurance company, like Amit mentioned, for the factors that he's spoken about. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Amit. And I hope you do stay safe as well amidst this COVID pandemic. Well, on that note, we will take a very short break right here on The Money Show. Don't go anywhere.